Imagine a world under an ocean of foamy skies, mixed swamp forests, deep muck peat soil, and a river of grass. A unique ecosystem that includes both subtropical and temperate climate zones. Just an hour-and-a-half drive from 5 million people in the Miami-Dade metro area, there is a unique place out of some other time. Full of animals, dangerous and endangered. All fighting for survival. And it all spins on the wheel of wet summers and dry winter seasons, where animals must adapt in order to thrive. This is the world of the Florida Everglades. The Everglades is a shallow river basin flowing north to south, from Lake Okeechobee into the Florida Bay at the southern tip of the state. The waters range up to 100 kilometers wide, but can be very shallow, less than 4 meters in these expanses, and just 15 centimeters in the shallowest spots. The Everglades have existed as a natural ecosystem for the past 6,000 years. It's an area of nearly 2 million acres located at the southwest edge of the Florida Peninsula. The area is home to 600 species of animals, many endangered, like the southern bald eagle, West Indian manatee, wood stork, and snail kite. There are 2 seasons, wet and dry. The wet season arrives at the beginning of summer, often with fierce thunderstorms and torrential rains. The wet season stretches from May through November. It rains daily, and the downpours amount to 74 centimeters a month, an average of 137 centimeters a year. During the summer, the glades become a steamy Garden of Eden. The dry season runs from December through April, when the tilt of the Earth's axis reduces direct contact from the sun. Cooler air flows in from the north, which suppresses rainfall. It's now September, and the weather remains relatively mild, with average high temperatures of 25 degrees. Cold fronts can bring the lows to near freezing during the night. Troublesome insects like mosquitoes and biting flies almost disappear. The water levels drop off, and animals congregate around standing pools that dot the landscape. It is a good time for wildlife viewing. Alligators gather at gator holes, deep water holes in the limestone cleared of muck by the gators. These areas become home to turtles, fish, birds, and swarms of insects. At natural pools and gator holes, wading birds gorge themselves on the all-you-can-eat buffet. It is their nesting season, and an abundant food supply is vital. Fortunately for the birds, gators need just the right condition to feed. Gators are ectothermic, or cold-blooded. They rely on surrounding air or water to regulate their body temperature. When a gator has a belly full of food, it has to heat up to about 32 degrees Celsius to digest it. Otherwise, the food in its stomach will rot and kill it. During the winter, with less than 12 hours of sunlight a day, the daily temperature averages 25 degrees, so gators eat less. When the temperature drops below 16 degrees Celsius, they don't eat at all. And because nighttime temperatures can drop below 10 degrees, soaking up every ray is vital. Otherwise, the alligators will freeze to death. Alligators use their entire body surface for thermal regulation. These bumpy scales work like solar panels, full of blood vessels that absorb heat quickly. As an apex predator, the only thing standing in the way of getting enough sunlight is a bigger alligator, or American crocodile. An alpha gator is fiercely territorial and vocal. It will let out a roar, telling smaller gators to move on. Size is everything for an alligator. The bigger he is, the stronger the bite. Studies at Florida State University show alligators and crocodiles can bite 80 times harder than humans. They bite with the force of a 2-ton excavator. These smaller gators have found a prime spot, and they've decided to share. Young, small gators have evolved to tolerate each other. They benefit from strength in numbers by sharing sunbathing areas and warning each other of impending danger. As the danger approaches, they move into the water, where they are much more mobile. The water also makes them appear bigger to potential predators. There are only 2 species of alligators in the entire world. The Chinese alligator is confined to a small area in the Yangtze River basin of eastern China. Much of its natural habitat has been converted to rice paddies, and it is now endangered. The American alligator lives in the southern US, from North Carolina to Texas. But most, 1.25 million of them, live in the ponds and swamps of the Everglades. Alligators have been around for 80 million years, at one time sharing the earth with dinosaurs. While dinosaurs died out, alligators have survived, changing very little over that long stretch of time. People often confuse alligators with crocodiles. Alligators are distinguished by a flat, round snout. Crocodiles have a narrow, pointed snout. Alligators are predominantly black. Crocodiles are gray-green, and lower teeth can be seen outside a crocodile's lips when its mouth is closed. Alligators can live as long as 100 years, grow to more than 5 meters, and weigh more than 430 kilograms. Their 80 sharp teeth can regrow if they break off or get damaged. About 3,000 teeth will regrow over its lifetime. Teeth are primary survival tools for alligators. Gators are carnivores living on meat, a diet of fish, mollusks, birds, other reptiles, and small mammals. Most carnivores eat only meat, but occasionally alligators have been seen munching on fruit. As leaves fall in other parts of the world, here the only sign of autumn is the absence of rain. The water levels dip even further, and alligators dig holes into the soft marsh. Using their feet, snout, and tails, they burrow into the landscape, creating large depressions. Why alligators do this is not entirely understood, but some biologists theorize it is an effort to regulate body temperature during the cool, dry season. Once submerged, this alligator can stay underwater for nearly 45 minutes on a single breath of air. But when pushed to their limit, a larger gator can make that breath last much longer, up to 2 hours. With long, heavy bodies and short legs, alligators are only able to walk slowly on land. In the water, they are unburdened by their mass. Alligators are expert swimmers, moving with ease and grace. Their long, muscular tail undulates from side to side, propelling a hydrodynamic body. Their hind legs are used only for steering. Unlike mammals, which live or die based on how much food they can find on a weekly, sometimes even a daily basis, crocodilians can survive for extended periods without food. If the environment is too cold or there is a lack of food, they simply shut down and, by using almost no energy, survive for months, sometimes even years. This ability to turn down the body's throttle and conserve energy is an evolutionary marvel. It's one reason alligators have managed to survive for 80 million years. In this state, alligators can reduce their heart rate to just 2 or 3 beats per minute. It is now October. The dry season continues to change the landscape. Freshwater recedes further. Rainfall is still months away. The alligators are only one of the species preparing for drought in the Everglades. Some animals will thrive during this season, Others will be challenged to stay alive. The word Everglades is derived from a combination of the words forever and grasslands in Old English. American journalist and staunch environmentalist Marjorie Stoneman Douglas described the area as a river of grass. This is one of the largest wetlands on the planet. The geography varies from fields of sawgrass marsh to a seemingly endless mosaic of sloughs, ponds, and streams, to dense forest on high ground called hardwood hammocks. Before major human settlement in the Florida Peninsula, the Everglades covered the entire lower third of the state, an immense subtropical paradise of sawgrass, southern live oak, royal palm, and mangrove trees. But human encroachment has reduced the glades to less than half of its original size. Beginning in the late 1800s, levees and canals have been built to drain areas for agriculture and to divert water to urban areas. With growing environmental awareness in the 1970s, UNESCO designated the Everglades as one of the 3 wetland areas of global importance. Since then, restoration efforts have begun. In 2000, the U.S. Congress launched the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, the most expensive environmental repair project in history. It's a 30-year, $9 billion project designed to restore, protect, and preserve the water resources of central and southern Florida. Its goal is to capture fresh water that now flows unused to the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico and redirect it to areas that need it most. The majority of the water will be devoted to environmental restoration. Plants and animals, predators and prey, will continue playing their vital roles in the fragile and complex Florida ecosystem. In the dry season, fresh water is in demand everywhere. Even in areas like this, where the water stretches for kilometers, it is dropped by more than a meter in depth. Here on the edge of the Gulf of Mexico, the saltwater fish are huddled together in low tides. These massive Atlantic tarpon can grow to over 2 meters and exceed over 130 kilograms. But at this time of year, they share only 1 meter of water. The tarpon have a unique dorsal fin and shiny silver scales that glitter in the sunlit water. They have large mouths with a prominent lower jaw that juts out in front of their face. Tarpon are prized by local fishermen, who call them the silver kingfish. In the dry season, when the water is low, the tarpon are forced into tight quarters. They must compete for everything, even oxygen. The large number of fish filtering oxygen out of a small amount of water drastically reduces the amount of oxygen in the water. The tarpon have a unique ability when oxygen is sparse. They breathe underwater using gills, but they also have a swim bladder that allows them to take small gulps of air from the surface. Their adaptability to the dramatic variations in climate is their secret to survival, and the reason they can grow so large and live for more than 50 years. It's January, and rain from last summer's wet season is a distant memory. The climate is now in a full-blown drought. It is good news for some. Wading birds are enjoying the best feeding of the year. These massive breeding colonies, called rookeries, are typical in the southwestern edge of the Everglades. Many thousands of birds flock here. These brown pelicans make their home among the mangrove trees. The trees rise directly from the water, with no land base, a relatively safe sanctuary for this coastal bird to breed and raise its young. Even though these birds have an impressive wingspan of nearly 7 feet, they are the smallest species of pelican in the world. Their bodies are filled with air sacs, and their bones are hollow, so despite their size, they weigh under 5 kilograms, about as much as a newborn human baby. Their lightweight and expansive wing surface makes them some of the most graceful flyers in the sky. Large bills make them extraordinary hunters as they dive into the water to snare fish. The pelican's food pouches can stretch to hold 11 liters of fish and water. Just one dive can provide a hearty meal, especially when fish are pooled together at this dry time of year. Once the pelicans have taken their enormous gulp at the bottom of the dive, they tip their head back and drain the water, leaving only fish. Each brown pelican may consume as much as 2 kilograms of fish per day. Dusk brings more cool air from the ocean, and the pelicans bury their heads to keep warm. Nighttime exposes the downside of lightweight bodies that make flying so easy for the pelicans during the day. There is very little fleshy insulation to maintain body heat. When temperatures dip to near freezing, as they sometimes do in the dry winter season, many birds freeze to death. As the dry season of winter continues, many animals seek sanctuary in the trees. Some will take advantage, others will suffer. It is now February, and in the Everglades, the dry season continues. Alligators continue to adapt to the cool weather, storing energy during the day by basking in the warmth of the sun. This alligator family has survived for 80 million years, and at least 2 extinction events. So what's a little drought? The gators lie motionless to conserve energy, but are in fact still carefully taking note of the world around them. Though they do not possess external ears, gators have air-filled canals on the sides of their head that give them excellent directional hearing. Not far from the alligators, and seemingly unconcerned, are an array of turtles. These prehistoric-looking creatures separated into distinct species millions of years ago. The alligator snapping turtle is a fierce hunter thanks to its powerful snapping jaws. They are the heaviest freshwater turtles in the world and can grow to more than 100 kilograms. Alligator snapping turtles are almost entirely meat eaters, relying on fishing and scavenging for their food. Their diet includes fish, mollusks, amphibians, crayfish, snakes, even other turtles, and aquatic plants. Their wide taste in food is one reason they can live for 50 to 100 years. They are covered in spikes from head to toe, so local predators, like alligators, have learned they make for an agonizing meal. Alligators have learned to ignore the snapping turtles. They sometimes live side by side. Like many animals in the Everglades, this turtle's only natural predator now is human. In his own way, he sits at the top of the food chain. The snapping turtle has a flexible neck, but relies on its bite to attack prey and fend off danger. It is one of the few turtles that is unable to pull its head fully back into its shell. Nearby, a cousin is basking in the sun. This is the yellow-bellied slider. They are primarily olive green, with prominent yellow patches down the neck and legs. Despite their sleepy appearance, they are actually quite sociable, with sharp eyesight. One reason sliders lie motionless is because they communicate with each other through touch and vibration. They may seem lethargic on land, but in the water, these turtles are amazingly fast. Yellow bellies are not protected by spikes like their snapping cousins, so with water this low, they must be cautious. As the calendar turns toward the end of the dry season, animals begin to anticipate the rains soon to come. Snakes that have lain dormant throughout the drought begin to move. It is March, when water levels reach their lowest points. The animals of the Everglades have not seen rain for nearly 6 months. That will change soon. At this time of year, the temperature is dipping to 11 degrees Celsius overnight, although when cold fronts move in, it can drop below freezing. After a frost in 2010, thousands of animals across the region died from the cold. The animals here are adaptable to many things, but severe cold is not one of them. While the dry season enters its final weeks, the alligators have done their part to preserve the ecosystem. Gator holes dot the landscape in the Everglades and provide a refuge for other wildlife. The holes are formed when alligators use their legs and snouts to clear muck out of the hollows in the limestone. As the water level drops, fish and algae become trapped in these holes, becoming easy pickings for wading birds. This allows birds to flourish and keeps fish populations in check. Large wading birds stand more than a meter tall in the shallow waters. There are several species of heron in the Everglades. The great blue heron, however, stands out. The blue heron is a tall and majestic bird. The largest of all heron species in North America, it can grow to a height of 140 centimeters while weighing less than 4 kilograms. Its lightweight and long aerodynamic body allows it to fly gracefully, up to 60 kilometers per hour. They mostly eat small fish, but they also feed on shrimp, crab, aquatic insects, small amphibians, reptiles, and mammals. Feeding is easiest at this time of the year, when the water is shallow and the fish have nowhere to hide. Another distinctive bird is the native anhinga. Sometimes nicknamed the water turkey for its broad tail, or the snakebird because it tends to swim with just its head and neck out of the water. Anhinga have sharp, pointy beaks, excellent for spearfishing. This bird may appear to be preparing to fly, but in fact, it's just stretching its wings to take in the warmth of the sun. Most water birds can produce a waterproof oil to coat their feathers, but the anhinga's feathers don't have this protection, so after diving for fish, they need to stretch in the sun to restore body heat and dry their wings. If they try to fly before their wings are completely dry, it is difficult to get airborne. They appear to be running on top of the water. This waterlogged anhinga is jumping from tree branch to find some sun and dry out. While low water is a blessing for birds feeding, it can distract them from watching for predators. This alert alligator swims away with an unexpected feast. As the day fades away, birds return to their rookeries for protection and warmth. If the temperature dips below freezing overnight, an exposed bird will almost certainly die. Dawn breaks over the giant cypress trees, abundantly scattered across the Everglades. These trees can live for centuries. Some are known to be more than 600 years old and over 45 meters tall. These trees are filled with birds, both predators and scavengers. The dominant scavenger in the Everglades is the black vulture. It is one of the very few birds with a keen sense of smell, a very useful tool since it feeds almost exclusively on carrion, often dead animals that fail to survive the dry season. Black vultures are big birds, weighing more than 2 kilograms with wingspans up to 80 centimeters. They fly like eagles, seldom flapping their wings, coasting on air currents as they survey the area below for food. Vultures live among the cypress trees in large family groups, forming lifelong bonds. And they are quiet. They do not possess a voice box, so are unable to make typical bird calls. They communicate through grunts and hisses. The abundance of black vultures is a sign of an exceptionally fatal season of drought. It has been a long, cold winter. It is April, and the water has reached its lowest point of the year. The Everglades is a relatively young ecosystem. In its present form, nearly an estimated 5,000 years old. Scientists believe this area used to be dry and arid, more desert-like than swamp. But a dramatic climate shift at that time changed the landscape and the animals that live here. All part of the pattern of perpetual change on the planet that may spell death for one species, but opportunity for others. Snakes thrive across the Everglades thanks to its combination of warmth, humidity, and food. In the dry season, snakes stay warm underground or in trees. Like other reptiles, they rely on the sun's energy to maintain body heat when not conserving energy in the shade. The Everglades are home to 44 native snake species. 6 are venomous. Scientists estimate these vast wetlands may be home to millions of individual snakes. Though the exact number is unknown, they are too elusive to count accurately. Snakes use their forked tongue to taste and smell the world around them. With limited ability to hear and see, their tongues are their eyes and ears. Snakes pick up chemical scent particles and interpret them with an especially sensitive taste organ inside their mouths. Their brains formulate a picture of the world using scent. Because their tongue is forked, snakes can pick up scents from 2 directions at once, allowing them to smell the world in 3D. The aptly named king snake is at the top of the snake hierarchy. The king derives its name from its dominance over other snake species. Its natural immunity to venom means the king snake will not hesitate to eat other snakes. It also feeds on reptiles, rodents, birds, and eggs. But a king still needs to be cautious. Its immunity is limited to the venom of local species. A foreign snake could still kill it. Snakes from all over the world have been introduced here. Snakes arrive in shipping containers and fruit crates. Pet snakes often escape or are abandoned. There's no knowing what types of snakes you can find. The small and camouflaged rough green snake hides easily from predators in tall grass. You have to be sharp-eyed to spot it. Only 6 inches long and thinner than a pencil, this snake is a master of disguise. If you look very closely, you can just barely make out its yellow eyes and slender tail that is perfectly matched to its surroundings. High up in the cypress trees, you can find red rat snakes. They are also called corn snakes because they show up around corn silos to eat rats and mice that eat the grain. Unlike the camouflaged green snake, this corn snake stands out in the bush. Corn snakes like to hide underground, but often climb trees to get to prey, including birds. Primarily, they are nocturnal hunters when birds are most vulnerable. Using its powerful muscles and tacky scales that line its belly, the snake can climb straight up a tree trunk. Though it's often mistaken for the highly venomous copperhead, the corn snake is relatively harmless, preferring to capture, constrict, and consume small amphibians and rodents. At last, the dry season is ending, and rain is on its way. It's May, and the Earth's axis is now tilted back so that the Everglades are exposed more directly to the sun's rays. The temperatures are rising. Clouds roll in. The heavy rains of the wet season are coming. Within days, the Everglades will flood, bringing a different set of challenges for the animals. Ocean-dwelling dolphins arrive along their annual route in the Gulf in preparation for rising water levels. Manatees also swim into the Florida Bay. Alligators, turtles, birds, and snakes all prepare for the changes ahead. As the rains drive away the dry season of the Everglades, the ongoing cycle of change in climate and landscape continues, as it has for thousands of years.